It's looking increasingly likely that a Fed hike will happen in December. Locally, the big news is that the NPA has decided to drop the fraud charges against Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan at the 11th hour. And while the rand was firmer on last week's close, it strengthened further following this morning's announcement. Earlier, we spoke to Khumalo from Vestac, who joined us from our JSE studios. This is what he had to say.
Let's rewind to the US close on Friday, where the markets there closed down. That's despite a positive growth number for Q3. And it would seem as though that trend continued through to global bourses today, although the local JSE has ticked up on the back of the NPA announcement that we've seen, driven largely by financials. But presumably the reason why markets were on a downer is really because there's a fear that the US Fed will raise rates.
Hi, there's quite a lot of moving parts in the US markets. Like you're saying, there's a lot of political instability as new information has come on Hillary Clinton, and it wasn't WikiLeaks this time around. It was Anthony Weiner, you know, the guy that's very liberal on Tinder with his naked selfies. So it's very hard to say what markets are doing and how things will go on that side. But let's not forget the fact that a lot of companies also came up with their third quarter results in America, and therefore some of them didn't do so well. For example, a good index that was down was the healthcare index, was down about 2%, and companies like Amgen was down 9.6%, AbbVie was down 6%, and Eli Lilly down 2%, Merck & Co down 4%. So you can see that there's a whole lot of things that are influencing that market. It's not just politics, so it's really hard to call and to say why really the market was down that side. Locally, obviously, we also have our own political problems. The good news here is that Pravin Gordhan dodges another bullet. He stays to fight another day, so that's good news. And we've seen the rand strengthening about 1.5%, which is good for investors. It means more money is coming into South Africa as there's political stability in the short term. And we've seen the financials index is up quite strongly there, with the likes of First Rand up more than 5.7%. So I guess if you had taken this as an opportunity to get into these financial stocks without actually focusing too much on the political instability in South Africa, you might be laughing to the bank now, excuse the pun.
Thanks for that analysis. Now, let's just move on to a stock now. I see Anglo American today announced the conclusion of its sale of its Callide coal asset in Australia. We know that the company is on course to rid of many of its assets. I think about 3 years ago, it announced that it wanted to shed about 3/5 of the assets that it had in order to try and sort out its balance sheet, which was poor. It had a lot of debt and so on and so forth. But we know that coal, for example, has, as a commodity, has risen by about 200% from June up till now, and obviously it's still going to continue selling assets. Isn't there a danger that it's going to be selling profitable assets, and surely shareholders would be worried about that?
That's a very hard question, Nompu, because you and I don't specialize in coal or in mining in any sense. So it's going to be hard to answer this question. But like you're saying, obviously Anglo has a sort of mandate that they've stuck with to say we're going to focus on core assets, and these are core assets, and they've outlined what those assets are. And coal obviously falls outside of that mandate, and they think by selling high, because like you're saying, some of these commodity prices like coal, coal, they're up sharply this year, and maybe they're taking advantage of selling high. So I guess it's good for shareholders right now if management is actually selling high.
All right, and ShopRite, it's come out with its 3-month trading results for the end of September. Turnover was up 15.7%, and on top of that, it's announced that its CEO of some 4 decades, Wati Basson, he's going to be retiring at the end of the year. There is a leadership transition that they've put into place. Are you confident with that, and how do you see that stock in general?
You know, this area of operation we like a lot. We like fast-moving consumer goods companies. We like retail companies. So ShopRite, what a company, hey? Whitey Basson actually started in the business when it was only 8 stores. And I mean, you can see the business, what it has grown to today. It's multi-billion business. And like you're saying, even now he's leaving on a high note, because if you look at the results for the 3 months, they're looking sharp as well. South Africa, in terms of revenues, up double digits. Same with the offshore business, up double digits, 35% to be exact. So we can see that this company has done well to save consumers a lot of money, even though on the most recent results the internal inflation was a bit higher than our normal inflation. That's due because of droughts and many other problems locally. But I mean, these types of companies are going to continue creating shareholder value, and the nice thing for Shoprite is that they still have Whitey Basson. Even though he might not be the CEO going forward, he's still going to be vice president, advising the new team and helping them transition, smoothly, not just, pull the plug on the company. So this company is very lucky, and the shareholders here, they've been rewarded greatly for their patience, and I think they're still going to continue being rewarded for their patience.